These problems have not changed because Gareth Southgate does not like to change his tactics or his personnel. What's up guys, it's the Master Analyst here. Welcome to the home of educated tactical analysis. Using my master's degree in performance analysis, we're going to be taking a look at England 2, Slovakia 1. Is Gareth Southgate a tactical genius, or did Jude Bellingham just save his career? Let's find out. Right, let's take a look at the match stats, as you can see on screen. Obviously we dominate possession. And did we create any clear-cut chances? No, we did not. So let's get into the England formation, the lineup. Southgate once again set England up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, expecting Mainu to completely transform the team's performance by replacing Conor Gallagher in the midfield. As you can see, Slovakia lined up in a 4-3-3 formation, however opting to defend at times in a 4-4-2 formation, with both wingers dropping back to make a midfield four, and Duda, the centre midfielder, actually joined his lone striker up top to create a front two when pressing the England defence. So let's get into England out of possession. Right, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get straight into England out of possession. I thought we looked shaky. I thought we was more open than usual. I thought that Trippier and Kyle Walker were caught in behind frequently on the counter-attack. There was a lot of 4v3 scenarios arising because of either a lack of Trippier's pace in transition, Kyle Walker switching off, or even Foden not actually wanting to trap back and help his fullback. So the real issues for England in this tournament have started in the second half of that first game against Serbia. These problems have not changed because Gareth Southgate does not like to change his tactics or his personnel. Literally nothing changed in the game besides Mainu trying to play forward, the problem being that he's too deep in the first place. There's a lack of runners in behind, and the tempo of the forward passes is way too slow and predictable. I won't go into the Trippier imbalance again because I did that in the previous video in great detail, but his predictable sideways passes has actually caused Gueye to be suspended for the quarterfinals. Kyle Walker and John Stones were very overly cautious to play penetrating passes and take risks in possession, something you just would not associate with Manchester City players. I thought that Declan Rice, yes, he had a good game towards the latter stages, but he's just too frightened to progress the play up the pitch. Right, let's look at the big moments from this extremely stressful game. Starting off, I just wanted to highlight certain things, so just try and have a good eye out for what I've circled, what I've highlighted, all the arrows and stuff. Obviously, the ball goes over the top for Slovakia's goal, and obviously Mark Gueye, one of his weaknesses is always going to be in the air, but I've highlighted the fact that John Stones is actually marking two players. I think we need a bit more self-awareness from the likes of Kyle Walker to essentially anticipate the danger. You can see that John Stones is marking two players. You need to communicate better. Obviously, also, Declan Rice further up the pitch, I've actually highlighted him. He's not marking anyone, so it just means there's complete imbalance in terms of who's marking who. Obviously, the ball gets played over the top. Obviously, if I play it further forward, like as you can see, once again, Kyle Walker can see the danger. He can see that John Stones is marking two players. He should shuffle across, and then it forces Bukayo Saka to actually drop back as well, but they just seem to be ball watching at this point. Obviously, Gueye loses the header, which is always going to happen quite frequently, to be fair. But I actually noticed that Mark Gueye just seemed to stop once the ball, once he lost the aerial duel. I'm not sure if he was injured or something, but if you look at the actual clip, he just seems to stop. And then that allows that player to run into that space that he just left. Not entirely sure what Kyle Walker's doing, just playing him completely onside. Obviously, he would have been onside anyway, but I'm not entirely sure he's doing that far back. A well executed pass from them, to be fair, and then a nice finish, but all that time in the world is just not acceptable, to be honest. Mark Gueye's been brilliant this tournament, but he did have a bit of a stinker, in my opinion, at that point. If we progress it onto a chance that we created, you've got Bukayo Saka on the right hand side, you've got Harry Kane that is highlighted here for me. We haven't seen enough of this in the tournament, so Bukayo Saka plays it into Harry Kane. He actually does well to shield the ball, and then we've got all these runners in behind committing players forward. Harry Kane does what he does best. He's actually very good on the ball in terms of spraying the balls out wide. Fantastic ball in behind to Trippier. And then a normal left-back, in my opinion, that's left-footed would actually have a shot here. But instead, he tries to play the ball across to Foden. And as you can see, he's in front of the place, which means he's offside. And we've wasted a fantastic chance there. This example, I'm not entirely sure what happened because we've got a free kick on our own half. Bellingham's gone to pass it to John Stones. John Stones is not even looking at the play. And it's ended up going straight to their player. And he's got a shot on the halfway line in an empty net. But luckily for us, he ends up hitting it wide, which that could have completely changed the game, which is why I've put it as a big moment. Another big moment, a fantastic cross, to be fair, from Phil Foden. Harry Kane scores this every day of the week, but for some reason he ends up nodding it wide. That could have changed the game. We also had a Declan Rice chance from outside the box. We haven't been doing enough of this in the game, shooting from distance. He ends up hitting the post. A lot of goals in this tournament have been scored outside the box, which we need to be shooting from distance more often. And then this is the big moment. This is the big moment that changed everything. So as you can see, the fact that Ivan Toney is in that box, it has allowed Bellingham and Kane to be more free in terms of not being man-marked touch tight. The fact that he's just there, another body in the box, is massive. Obviously, Mark Gay wins the flick on. And as you can see, he wins a flick on. And inside the box, Jude Bellingham has managed to get away quickly from his marker. That little bit of movement has allowed him to get the space to then do the overhead kick, which is just unbelievable, let's be honest. Of all the players, it had to be him, didn't it? You wouldn't have expected that from anyone else. Even Kane, if I'm being totally honest, he was ghosting towards the latter stages of the match. The leader, the captain, he was not stepping up. But of course, Jude Bellingham, with his Real Madrid DNA, steps up and scores in pretty much the last chance of the game to keep us in the tournament. And then obviously, first minute of the extra time, Eze has an awful shot outside the box, but luckily it bounces and goes straight to Ivan Toney, and his introduction into the match allows him to head the ball across the box, as you can see here, perfectly looped, curling towards the goal, into the space for Harry Kane to nod home and make sure that we lead the game 2-1. So what was the winning formula? Why were England able to actually win this tight encounter? One that realistically we should have been winning with ease based on the rankings and based on the fact that our players are in good form at club level. I thought that obviously Jude Bellingham is a man for the big occasion. He performs and he gets that decisive goal when it really matters. I thought the Toney substitution really provided an extra play in the box. It should have been way earlier. I thought it was a disrespect to put him on that late on in the game. I thought he gave more problems for the opposition. His assists and his overall hold-up play to win free kicks and actually give his side breathing space, I thought was superb. Well, that game was just draining from start to finish, let's be honest. If it wasn't for Jude Bellingham saving Gareth Southgate's career, we'd be on the plane home. It would be a complete disaster class. It'd be worse than the Iceland game in 2016 when we actually went out, because this time we've got way better players. But we're through, and essentially that's all that matters in knockout football, but I'm not confident going into the next game. I just want to say thank you to the people watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and it's a goodbye from me.